Welcome learners to Operating System Lecture Session 6. The objective of this lecture session is to provide an illustration to prevent occurrence of a deadlock using Banker's algorithm. Banker's algorithm is a resource allocation and deadlock avoidance algorithm that tests for safety by simulating the allocation of resources, check for completion of process, and to decide whether to continue resource allocation. Using Banker's algorithm, here is an illustration of deciding resource allocation to processes and thereby avoid occurrence of a deadlock. Assume we have 5 processes P1, P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4. Each process might require some resources to complete their task. So the available resources at the system end are named as A, B, C and D. So at a given point of time T0, the following is the state of the system. So there are 4 resources A, B, C and D, and we have 5 processes P0 through P4. Each of the process will be in need of some set of resources in order to do their task. So totally 3 A resources are available, out of which 2 is allocated and 1 is left free. And similarly, out of 17 instances of B resource, means 17 numbers of B resource is available. Out of that, 12 is allotted and 5 is left free. Similarly, out of 16 resources of category C, 14 are allotted and 2 is left free. At the same time, moving on to resource D, there were actually 12 number of D resources. Out of 12, 12 are allotted to the processes and there is no resource D available free. So this is our state of the system. So here the problem is, for the given for the given processes P0 through P4, they are in need of some resources. So they are going to do their task and they'll be in need of the resources. If the resources are granted to the processes in a correct order, processes they'll be doing their task and they will be completing. If all the processes they are able to complete their task without a deadlock occurrence, then the system of the state of the system is free and hence it is a safe state. So we are able to find whether the deadlock is not going to occur and hence we are having a solution to the problem. Let us see whether we were able to find the solution, whether there is a safe state for the system. If there is a safe state for the system, then there is no occurrence of a deadlock. So we are going to apply Banker's algorithm for that. So the current state definition of the problem is given here. Let us proceed further. So here, as taken as an illustration, we are first moving on with the allocation matrix. Allocation matrix is nothing but out of available resources A, B, C, D, what is allotted to each of the process. So allocation matrix is nothing but it is an indication of out of available resources A, B, C, D, how many number of A, B, C and D are allotted to each of the processes. The entry of such allocation is nothing but allocation matrix. As seen here, process 0 has not been gained any resource A. So A is not allotted to, A resource is not allotted to process 0 and hence the entry is given as 0. Moving on to resource B. So 1 number of B is given to process 0. And similarly, 1 number of C resource is given to process 0. And D resource is not allotted to process 0. Similarly, process 1, it has been allotted 1 instance of A resource, 2 instance of B resource, 3 instance of C resource and 1 instance of D resource. And similarly, process 2, it has gained access to 1 instance of A resource, 3 instance of B resource, 6 instances of C resource and 5 instances of D resource. And similarly, the entries for P3 and P4 processes are given here. So after the allocation is over, the total number of A resources which are gained by the processes are 2 in number. So available A resource was actually initially at the entry point we were having A resource. The A resource count was totally 3. Out of 3, 2 resources are being allotted here. And moving on to resource B, totally at the initial stage there were 17, but currently 12 is allotted. Similarly, moving on to C resource, in the initial stage it was 16 available, so 14 now is allotted. And finally D resource, it was 12 in number, all the 12 resources are being allotted to processes. So this is the allocation matrix, and each of the process they have been allotted with some number of ABCD resources. Now we'll move on to what a max matrix is. Max matrix is, it is a matrix which is denoting what is the maximum requirement of resources by each of the processes. Means, so let us see, process 0, it is not in need of any A resource at all. So there is an entry of A as 0. So process 0, it is not requiring A resource at all. And moving on to B resource, it is in need of 2. Okay, so it is requiring 2 instances of B resource, 1 instance of C resource in order to complete its task. So I repeat, max matrix is nothing but the maximum number of resources that are required by processes in order to complete their task. So when we examine the state of P0, it is in need of 2 instances of B resource and 1 instance of C resource. But it is not requiring any of A resource as well as D resource. But what is the actual allocation here? It has gained access to 1 instance of B and 1 instance of C. So we can just see that from this, the process P0, if it is gaining one more access of B resource, it is going to complete its task. So now let us see what is the maximum requirement for the other processes. P1 process, it is requiring 1 instance of A, it is requiring 6 instances of B, and it is requiring 5 instances of C, and it is requiring 2 instances of D resource. So likewise, each of the process, they are in need of some number of resources in order to complete. Now we will move on to the third matrix, which is nothing but the available matrix. Available matrix is nothing but, there were actually in the initial moment, totally it was 3 instances of A, 17 instances of B resource, 16 instances of C resource, and 12 instances of D resource. So out of the maximum resources, 2 instances of A is allotted, 12 instances of B is allotted, 14 instances of C is allotted, and 12 instances of D is allotted. So available minus allocation is nothing but the initially available resources were 3, 17, 16 and 12. So 3, 17, 16, 12 minus allocation is 2, 12, 14 and 12, which is nothing but finally after allocation of resources to the processes, now only 1 instance of A is left free, 5 instance of resource B is left free, 2 instance of resource D is left free, and 0 instance of D is left free. So next we will move on to the creation of need matrix. So far we have seen about the given state of the problem, that is allocated resources for each process, maximum resource requirement for each of the processes, and availability of resources for utilization after allocation. We are going to examine now whether a safe state is existing. We need to find the order of allocation of resources to each of the processes so that all 5 processes, they will be completing their task utilizing the available resources. So the first step is to find the need matrix. Now what is this need matrix? So maximum resource requirement for a process, minus allocated is nothing but need matrix. So maximum requirement minus whatever is allocated is nothing but the need requirement. So as per the illustration for process 0, so this denotes to process 0. So process 0, it has gained maximum allocation of The maximum requirement for process 0 is 0, 2, 1 and 0. 0, 2, 1, 0 means it doesn't need A resource, but 2 instances of B resource, 1 instance of C resource and 0 instance of D resource. So this is what a maximum requirement for process 0. But what actually it is allotted with? It is allotted with 1 instance of B, 1 instance of C. So maximum minus allocated is nothing but 0, 1, 0, 0. It means that if process 0, it is gaining only 1 instance of B resource in addition, it will be able to complete its task. Similarly, process 1, the maximum allocation for maximum allocation of resources for process 1 is 1, 6, 5 and 2. The maximum requirement. 1 number of A, 6 instances of B, 5 instances of C and 2 instances of D. This is what is the requirement for process 2. So it is requiring 1, 6, 5 and 2 number of instances, but actually it was allotted with 1 number of A, 2 instances of B, 3 instances of C and 1 instance of D. So when we subtract, so the remaining is nothing but the need matrix entry for process 1. Similarly, moving on to process 2, the maximum allocation was 2, 3, 6 and 6, but actual allocation was 1, 3, 6 and 5. So when we subtract maximum allocation minus allotted resources, here is an entry 1001, which is nothing but the need matrix entry for process 2. For process 3, 0020. For process 4, it is 0, 6, 4 and 2. Now we are just making an entry of all these need matrix entry values into the need matrix. Now this is what is the final need matrix for the processes. So this need matrix is nothing but maximum requirement minus allocated resource for each of the processes. So this is nothing but the need matrix. Now the second step of the banker's algorithm is we need to apply the safety algorithm to test if the system is in a safe state or not. We'll first define the work and we are going to finish. If we are able to finish all the processes, then the state of the system is safe. So the initially what is available to us is, after all the allocation, the remaining available resources are A, 1 in number, B resource 5 instances are available, C 2 numbers are available, and D resource there is nil availability. So this is what is currently in hand. Currently whatever resources are available, it is made as an entry into work vector. Work vector is nothing but at present whatever resources are left free to utilize. So work vector is nothing but the available resources after allocation. So as per the state of the problem, 1 A instance, 5 instances of B resource, 2 instances of C resource and nil availability of D resource is current state of the system. Now all the processes, they haven't completed their task, so finish matrix entry is made as false for all the processes. P0 through P4, none of them they have completed their role. Now let us proceed further. So first what we are supposed to do is, we need to check whether the need matrix for each of the process is less than the availability. Okay, so if the need matrix value is less than or equal to the availability of the resources, then we can proceed with that particular process and we can complete that particular process, and the finish matrix entry for that particular process will be made as true. And once the process it is completing its role, it will be releasing the resources. So the total work vector availability will be allotted plus the newly released resources. So that will be the updated entry for the work vector. Now let us see what happens. We are just proceeding with process 0 first. Process 0's need matrix entry is 0, 1, 0, 0. 0 means it is not requiring A resource, C resource and D resource, but it is requiring only one instance of B resource. Now what was available in work matrix, work vector? it was holding 1 instance of A, 5 instance of B, 2 instance of C. So now process 0, it is requiring only 1 instance of B resource. So the need matrix entry for process 0 is less than the work vector value. So P0 will be executed because the need matrix entry for P0, it is less than or equal to work vector values, and hence process 0, it will be completing its role. So the process 0 finish matrix entry is made as true now. Now process 0 is the first one to complete its process. So here the order of execution of the resources is also included in the finish matrix. Now P0 will also release allocated resources. It was holding 0, 1, 1, 0 number of resources. Now this 0, 1, 1, 0, it is added to the current vector matrix, work vector, which is nothing but 1, 5, 2, 0. So work vector value is now getting updated. So currently the available resources were 1, 5, 2, 0. So that value plus the one which was utilized by P0 resource is getting added, and the new work vector value is now updated as 1630. Why it is added? Because once the process it is completing its role, whatever it was holding, it will be releasing all those resources. As per the problem definition, P0 it was holding 0, 1, 1, 0 of resources. That is, it was holding 1 P resource and 1 C resource. Now these are getting added to the work vector, and the work vector values are getting recorded as 1, 6, 3 and 0. The state of the finish matrix is also updated now. Similarly, all other process will also get executed. Now the need matrix entry for process 1 is 0, 4, 2 and 1. Now the condition is being checked whether the need matrix entry 0, 4, 2 and 1 is less than or equal to 1630. 0 less than 1, no. 4 less than 6, yes. 2 less than 3, no. So here A resource as well as C resource is not satisfied. Okay, there is no availability of resources at work vector when you compare it with the need matrix requirement of process 1, and hence the condition is failing. So P1 will not be given permission to execute now. Now we are just moving on to process 2. Process 2 need matrix entry are 1, 0, 0 and 1. Now it is checked whether it is less than or equal to work vector entries 1630. Here again the condition is failed because there is no availability of D resource here, but process 2 it is requiring 1 D resource. D resource is not available at work vector, so condition is failing. So P2 will also be not permitted to execute now. Now the condition of the process 3 is now checked. Process 3 is 0, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, which is less than 1630. So here it is requiring C resource 2 instances. It is supported with 3 instances. The other resources are not required, and hence the need matrix entry for process 3 is less than the work vector entry, and hence P3 is chosen for execution. Now P3 will be completing its role. Since P3 is completing its role, now P3 entry for finish matrix is made true. Now it is completing its role in the order of 2. Hence you are also updating the status as finished true, as well as the order of execution is 2. Now P3, since it is completing its task, it is going to release the allocated resources. It was utilizing 0, 6, 3, 2 number of resources. Now that will be added to the current work vector entry, which is 1630. So 1630 plus 0632, it will become 11262. So 11262 is nothing but the current work vector entry. So totally we have 1 instance of A, 12 instances of B, and 6 instances of C, and 2 instances of D resource now. Now the need matrix requirement for process 2, it is less than the work vector entry, so P4 is getting executed. Now P4 status is updated here. P4 is completing its task, so the finish matrix entry for P4 is also made true, and the order of execution is 3. As P4 is completing all its processes, all its tasks, now P4 is releasing its allocated resources. It was holding 0, 0, 1 and 4. Now this 0, 0, 1 and 4, it is being added to the work vector entry 1, 12, 6 and 2. 1, 12, 6 and 2 plus 0, 0, 1, 4 is nothing but 1, 12, 7 and 6. So the newly updated value for work vector is 1, 12, 7 and 6. Now the task is continuing now. Now the need matrix requirement of process 1 is checked now, which is 0, 4, 2 and 1, which is less than 1, 12, 7 and 6, and now P1 is also given permission for execution. Now the status of P1 is made true, the order of execution is 4, P1 is releasing its resources 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1 plus the work vector entry values 1, 12, 7 and 6. So the newly updated work vector entries are 2, 14, 10 and 7. Now it is continuing. What happens is the need matrix requirement for process 2 is now 1, 0, 0, 1, which is less than the current work vector entries. So P2 is also given permission to get executed. P2, the need value is less than the work vector entry. So P2 is also completing its task. Now P2 status is also updated as true. Now the order of execution of P2 process is 5. P2 is also releasing its resources. So it was holding 1, 3, 6 and 5 number of instances. So 1, 3, 6, 5 resource plus the work vector entry 2, 14, 10 and 7, which is nothing but 3, 17, 16 and 12. So the work vector entry finally is 3, 17, 16 and 12. And now when we check to the finish matrix, all the processes P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, all of them they have completed. Their status is made true, and we can also see that the order of execution of the processes are first P0 will do, and then P3 is completing, P4 next, P1 next, and then P2 next. So there is existing a safe state sequence in which all the processes they are able to complete their own process utilizing the available resources. If one such safe state exists, then it means that the system is in a safe state, and hence there is no occurrence of deadlock. So using the Banker's algorithm, we have found efficiently that in what way the order of resources can be allocated so that the processors are able to complete their task. So from this session, we can determine whether a safe state prevails for the given problem state using Banker's algorithm. Hope the session was helped the learners to know about applying Banker's algorithm and avoid deadlocks. Thank you. Happy learning.